Another watercolour demo, and this was a view I passed one Sunday evening. I was crossing from my house in Caerphilly over to Nelson Village, and I was a minister there for about 7 years, and so I passed this view many times. But it was lovely the other Sunday evening passing here with a lovely glow, a lovely light across the fields here. And I went back to the church where, like I said, I was a minister for 7 years, and it was lovely to meet up with everybody again, and lovely welcome. But the reason for going over there was that somebody who was a dear friend in the church had passed away. He'd been called home to glory. His name was Craig Hill, and I had to go and see the family, see his wife Lou. And Craig was a dear friend. His father named him Craig, not Craig, although people knew him as Craig, but in the family he was known as Craig, which of course is Welsh for rock. And yeah, Craig was solid. He was dependable, reliable. There was that about him in all his relationships, whether in work, whether in family, in the church. Yeah. Yet having said that, he was far from boring, Craig. He like myself really, he loved a good story, always had an anecdote to tell, and that was lovely. And yeah, precious memories of times with Craig. Didn't have it easy, had a lot of illness through his life, and at one time he was diagnosed with epilepsy, and his licence was taken off him for a year, and he worked with the Welsh Water. He was quite high up actually. He worked his way up in the Welsh Water, and yeah, the way he handled it all was amazing, really. That was a tough time trying to get it still into work, and yeah, not able to drive, and then of course diagnosed with cancer, and a couple of years ago, and him and his dear wife Lou, they had a bracelet made for each other with the words, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And yeah, so, but a tough time, isn't it, for a family, and such a loss. And words fail, don't they? You can just be there for people and try and get them through these times. So that's as much as I can do now, really. That's the wash on. We got the remains of an old farm building here. That'll be the focal point. Always either there. When you want a focal point, keep that interest. You don't want a painting boring. And I'm looking for a very tranquil sort of summer evening view, pastoral scene really, with sheep. So there we go. It's the first session. Second session now of a view that's on the mountain between Caerphilly, where I lived, and Nelson, where I used to minister, and I used to travel over there umpteen times a week. But I was saying the other Sunday evening, I was making my way across to see the church in Nelson and go and visit a family where Craig, dear friend, had been called home to glory, and yeah, dear friend, and so I'm just going to get suggestion of the hills in here, and I don't want it too strong, so I'm going to merge it really with the sienna that's underneath, and it'll give a sense of distance and a bit of a glow. So let's just take that back a bit, I think, and down to there. And yeah, we're going to have trees that will break the horizon here, and it'll be quite standing out in this area. But for now, that'll be it. And what I'll do, I'm going to concentrate on the walls really, and this barn here. Yeah, when I was up with Lou and Craig's wife, we were chatting about things. And obviously Craig had his challenges in life, and amazing how he just quietly got through them all. And yeah, on one occasion Lou reminded me, I forgot all about it really. she said, oh, remember I rang you up and she said, Craig had to go into casualty and so you came up and Gwyneth, she looked after the children for us. I was Reese and Caris. And how then you took me up to casualty with Craig. And in no time, she said, you were horizontal along all the chairs, fast asleep. And I thought, as my minister there, fast asleep. So I forgot all about that. And I think when I was a minister in Emmanuel in Cardiff, and we had students starting to come to the church, which meant so much for the church, and which the church benefits even now, because a lot of them have got married and they're still on in the church and play an active role there now. But we'd have the students for lunch, and after lunch I'd say to them, well, you can all do what you want now, I'm off to bed for an hour. And when I'd get up, it'd be like the Somme, with bodies everywhere, students just lying, sleeping on floors. And but yeah, well, lovely memories. Every church is different, of course, and has its different sort of challenges. But Craig was so very practical and did so much in terms of the church. He, did the carnival float with Ian, who used to live next door one time, who's out in Norway now living, and they did a carnival float and Noah's Ark, and they. Yeah, with a big rainbow with the words, God keeps his promise, And so I'm putting a bit of life here now. And and again, that's more or less, I don't know much more than this now. I'm going to have a rock protruding here. And another smaller rock there. And then we're going to get a bit of a pathway through here. And again, you keep it all interesting and gets obviously smaller. Further back you go. And I'm going to just soften the edges of this, I think, and let it go blend in more. And that's all we can really do at this stage now. That's it. Right, third session now with this video I've been explaining is on the mountain, travelling from Caerphilly, where I live, across to a little village called Nelson, where I was a minister for 7 years, and how that I was going over there, and great to catch up with the church again and people, but more than that, somebody who was dear in the church, Craig Hill, had passed away. Lord called him home, and so we have to see the family, make arrangements regarding the funeral. Always a difficult time, of course. And yeah, I was saying he was amazing, Craig. He really was. And one of our house groups was always held in their house every week, and they had a busy life. Lou and Craig both had demanding jobs and raising a young family as well. Yet had time for us, and were never in a hurry to sort of check us out, or far from that actually. You had to be careful, you could be there into the late hours if you didn't make an effort. But it was lovely. It's such a warmth of welcome, and our church barbecue every year was held in their home. And so relaxing to be with, such years, and so open as a person, and in fact somebody said to Gwyneth from the church on that night we were there that everybody should have a Craig in their life. He had a very calming influence, really, and but of course now he's home with the Lord, isn't it? Our Lord said, I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place, I'll come again and I'll receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And, Apostle Paul could say, absent from this body, present with the Lord. That's a wonderful thing with the gospel, that the message of the gospel is so simple yet so wonderful. that Christ came to open up unto us a relationship with God where God can become our Father and we become his children. This great, mighty, awesome Creator can be our Father. And that's the truth you'll find throughout the pages of the New Testament, that this is the way we are to come to know God, get right with God. The parable of the prodigal son that Jesus told, how a son came back and was thinking he'd earn his way back into his father's favour after the wrong that he had done. But he's received as a son, and that's how he is received. And that's wonderful in the Lord, that, that we can be received as children. And of course the logic then is, of course, if God is our Father, heaven is our home. And just like with my own children, they call here even now, married themselves, and they don't knock the door, they just come in, because my home is their home. And it's like that with heaven's glory for the child of God. It's not whether you're good enough, and none of us are good enough, but it's whether we are children of God, and we know this incredible relationship with God, where he is our Father. Now, I'm just putting a suggestion of some stones here and there. I would normally work on all this and come at it with lights and blues, but time doesn't allow with Facebook now. And what I might just do is just get the suggestion of a lighter blue in with the stonework here. And of course, this needs to dry now to get some sheep in, but we might just give it a go. Who's to say? It's only a piece of paper at the end of the day. And it might spread a little bit. So I do it smaller than what I think. So if it spreads, it's not going to matter too much. And see that spreading? Don't panic. Just get a piece of paper, and that's the end of that. So I never panic. And we'll just, I'll try and keep away from where the water is wet to give you an idea. There we are, of what it's like with a couple of sheep in here. And I think we'll just call it a day then, really. I'm alright, it's pretty dry up here on this part. So we'll put the sheep up here, but it's pretty dry. I think we're alright by here too. So, and then all I've got to do, just 1 minute now, well, it's not going to be a minute, a couple of seconds really, and I think that'll be enough. We'll just get a bit of cast shadow in with the sheep. There, 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 there. Look at that. It's simple as that. Just keep it, spontaneous, we get the light catching our barn building there like that. And a part that's up in there like that too. And just get a mount of them, and that will be it, more or less finished. I've just got this little bit to do here with this rock, that's all, where the light's catching the top. And get some blue in there as well. And that'll be it really. And that's him. For now, that's it. Finished.